Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Without Limit. I'm Julia, your host for today. If you're joining us for the first time, I want to let you know that we upload a new English learning video every day to help you become more fluent and confident in English. In today's lesson, we're diving into a topic that will truly transform the way you speak English in your daily life. We're going to explore advanced daily life English phrases that native speakers use naturally in conversations. These are not the usual textbook phrases. These are real, everyday expressions that help you sound fluent, confident, and natural. You'll not only improve your listening skills by hearing how these phrases are used, but you'll also get a chance to practice your speaking by repeating after me and using them in real-life examples. By the end of this lesson, you'll feel more comfortable speaking English in casual conversations, at work, with friends, or even in unexpected situations. I'll walk you through every phrase, give you examples, and help you understand when and how to use them. So before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a lesson that helps you grow your English. Now, grab a pen, grab a notebook, and get ready to take your English to the next level. Let's begin. Let's start with a phrase that native speakers use constantly in everyday conversations. I'm not quite sure, but... This phrase is perfect when you want to give an opinion, but you're not completely confident. It sounds natural, soft, and polite. For example, instead of saying, I don't know, you could say, I'm not quite sure, but I think the meeting starts at 10. This small change makes you sound more fluent and more in control of the conversation. Here's how you can practice. Imagine a friend asks you for directions to a new coffee shop. You're unsure, but you want to be helpful. You say, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's near the train station right across from the bookstore. Now, try repeating that slowly with me. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's near the train station. These kinds of phrases help your speaking feel smoother and more connected. Another commonly used phrase that makes your English sound advanced is, it slipped my mind. This is a very natural way of saying that you forgot something. For example, if you forgot to return a friend's call, you can say, I'm so sorry, it totally slipped my mind. It sounds a lot better than just saying, I forgot. It adds personality and shows fluency. Try using this phrase in your own daily conversation. Think about a time when you forgot to do something small, like bringing a book or sending a message. Practice saying, I was going to do it yesterday, but it completely slipped my mind. These expressions help make your speech feel more alive and natural. Now, let's talk about a useful phrase that you can use when you want to agree with someone, but also show that you have something to add. That's true, but it's a soft and respectful way to introduce a different opinion. For example, your colleague says, working from home is more comfortable. You can reply, that's true, but sometimes I miss talking to people face to face. This keeps the conversation smooth and makes you sound thoughtful. Try saying that with me. That's true, but sometimes I miss talking to people face to face. Practicing this phrase helps you get comfortable in everyday discussions without sounding rude or too direct. Here's a phrase that is very common in workplace or polite situations. Would you mind if I... It's a polite way to ask for permission. Instead of saying, can I open the window? You could say, would you mind if I opened the window? It's more respectful and shows good manners. Practice it with me. Imagine you're in a meeting room and it feels a bit warm. You look at your colleague and say, "Would you mind if I opened the window?" Or, if you're talking to your friend at home, you can say, "Would you mind if I used your phone charger for a minute?" These kinds of phrases show that you are not only fluent, but also socially aware and polite. Another phrase that can help you sound more fluent is, "Let's play it by ear." This is used when you're not sure about your plans and want to decide later. For example, if a friend asks what time you're going to the park and you're not sure yet, you can say, "Let's play it by ear." It means you'll decide later depending on the situation. Let's practice this in a sentence. Imagine you're making plans for the weekend. Your friend says, "Shall we go out at 5 or 6? You say, "Let's play it by ear." "I might be a bit tired after work." That's a phrase that sounds truly native and relaxed. Now, let's use these phrases together in a short practice paragraph. Listen closely and try to repeat it afterward. Practice paragraph. Yesterday, I was supposed to meet my friend for lunch, but it totally slipped my mind. I felt so bad. I called her and said, "I'm not quite sure how I forgot." It just slipped my mind. She was understanding and said, "No worries. These things happen." Then I said, "Would you mind if we meet tomorrow instead?" She agreed and said, "Sure, let's play it by ear depending on the weather." That short story includes 4 of the phrases we just learned, all used in a natural, fluent way. Try to repeat the story in your own words to practice your speaking skills. Let's move on to another phrase that's really useful when you want to give advice in a casual way. If I were you, I'd. This is a polite and gentle way to offer a suggestion. Instead of saying, "You should," which might sound a bit strong, you say, "If I were you, I'd take a break." It sounds softer and shows empathy. Let's practice together. Imagine your friend is stressed about work. You say, "If I were you, I'd take a day off to relax." It's a great way to show care while still giving advice. Try using it when helping others, or even talking to yourself when making a decision. Another advanced phrase that you hear often in real life is, "to be honest." This phrase helps you express your real opinion without sounding rude. For example, if someone asks you about a movie and you didn't really enjoy it, you can say, "To be honest, I found it a bit slow." It shows that you're expressing your thoughts truthfully, but politely. Let's try another one. Imagine your friend cooked something and asks you if you liked it. You can say, "To be honest, I'm not a big fan of spicy food, but I appreciate the effort." This phrase is very useful in many conversations, especially when you want to be honest and kind at the same time. Next up is a phrase that helps when you need more time to think. Let me get back to you on that. This is commonly used in workplaces, meetings, or even in informal chats. For example, if someone asks you for information and you don't know it right now, you say, "Let me get back to you on that." It shows that you're responsible and that you plan to follow up. Try using this phrase when someone asks you about something you need to check first, like an event date or a task deadline. Say, "I'm not quite sure about the exact time. Let me get back to you on that." Now, let's put some of these phrases into a practice paragraph. Listen carefully and try to imagine the situation. You're at work, and your manager asks if you can take on a new project. You're not sure, so you say, "To be honest, I've got a lot on my plate right now. Let me get back to you on that." Later, you talk to a coworker and say, If I were you, I'd talk to the manager about the workload. Your coworker agrees and says, "That's true, but we also have to meet the deadline." That short exchange includes real-life fluent speaking with natural phrases. Practice saying it out loud. And even better, try writing your own mini dialogue using these expressions. Another fantastic phrase you can use in daily life to show understanding or support is, "I know how you feel." This phrase is simple, but it makes conversations feel more emotional and human. For example, if a friend says they're tired from working late nights, you can respond, "I know how you feel. I've been staying up late all week too." It shows connection and sympathy. Try practicing with me. Picture someone saying, "I'm really stressed about my exams." You say, "I know how you feel. I used to get super anxious before my tests too." These short responses help build connection and comfort in everyday conversation. Let's now learn a helpful phrase for when you need someone to wait. Bear with me for a moment. This sounds polite, calm, and professional. It's better than just saying, "Wait a second," which can sometimes sound too direct. Imagine you're on a phone call and you need to find a file. You can say, "Could you bear with me for a moment while I check my notes?" It's perfect for both formal and informal settings. Try it in another example. You're cooking and your friend asks you a question. You say, "Bear with me for a moment. I just need to finish chopping these vegetables." With repetition, phrases like this become natural in your daily vocabulary. A phrase that is very common when something is not exactly right is, "It's not quite what I expected." This helps you express disappointment or surprise in a polite way. For example, if you buy a new gadget and it doesn't work as you thought, you might say, "It's not quite what I expected, but I'll give it some time." Let's practice another situation. You try a new dish at a restaurant and the taste is different. You can say, "It's not quite what I expected, but it's interesting." This way, you remain polite while still sharing your honest thoughts. Now, let's go over a really useful conversational phrase. That reminds me. This is a great way to naturally shift topics while sounding fluent. For example, if someone says something that makes you think of another story, you can say, "That reminds me of the time I went to the beach and forgot my sunscreen." It flows naturally and makes your storytelling smoother. Let's try it together. A friend says, "I love swimming." You say, "That reminds me of my childhood summers at the lake." It's a fun and easy way to add stories and details to your conversations. Another smooth phrase to practice is, "As far as I know." This phrase helps you give information that you believe is true, but you're not 100% certain. It's useful in many situations. For example, "As far as I know, the shop closes at 8 p.m. Or, "As far as I know, she's still working on that project." It's a great way to speak confidently without sounding like you're guessing. Try using it now. Think about something you heard recently and say, "As far as I know, they're moving to a new house next month." You can use this in daily chats, work conversations, and even texts. Now, let's take all these phrases and place them in a short story for practice. Listen to this carefully. Your friend says, "I'm so nervous about my job interview tomorrow." You reply, "I know how you feel. I remember being super nervous before mine." Then you say, "Bear with me for a moment. I think I still have some notes that might help you prepare." As you search for the notes, you continue. "That reminds me of when I went in without any preparation. It didn't go well." Then you say, As far as I know, the company likes people who ask a lot of questions, so be curious. This story sounds natural and full of fluent expressions. Repeat it out loud or write your own version using the same phrases. Next is a great phrase for when something is easy or simple. It's a piece of cake. It means something is very easy to do. For example, don't worry about the homework. It's a piece of cake. This is a fun phrase that native speakers use often. Let's practice. You're helping your younger sibling with a project, and they look nervous. You say, relax. It's a piece of cake once you understand the steps. Saying things like this will make your English sound very confident and smooth. Here's a phrase to express when you're very busy. I've got a lot on my plate. It means you're dealing with a lot of work or tasks. For example, I'd love to join the meeting, but I've got a lot on my plate right now. Let's practice this. Think about a busy day you had. You can say, last week was crazy. I had meetings, deadlines, and family events. I really had a lot on my plate. This phrase fits into both casual and professional conversations easily. Now, one of the most useful conversation fillers you'll hear in fluent English is, you know what I mean. This is great for checking understanding or making sure your listener is following. For example, I like quiet places more than crowded ones. You know what I mean? It makes conversations feel more interactive and personal. Practice it with me. You're talking about your favorite coffee shop and you say, I go there every weekend just to relax. It's got a nice, calm vibe. You know what I mean? Try using this phrase in your next chat to make it sound more engaging. Let's tie this together in a daily conversation practice. You meet a friend at a cafe and say, I've got a lot on my plate lately. Work is non-stop. Your friend says, yeah, I get it. You respond, I went to this quiet spot in the park yesterday just to clear my head. You know what I mean? Then you add, relaxing there was a piece of cake compared to my usual routine. That short scene uses 3 natural phrases in a real-life context. Practicing like this will train your brain to use these phrases fluently, without thinking too much. Now, let's learn another useful phrase. Let's catch up soon. This is what people say when they want to meet again or reconnect. For example, after a long conversation with a friend, you might say, it was great talking to you. Let's catch up soon. It's friendly and keeps the connection open. Try saying this after a conversation ends. I've got to run now, but let's catch up soon. Maybe over lunch next week. You'll hear this phrase often in English-speaking countries. And here's another one to show politeness or calm during a disagreement. Let's agree to disagree. It's a peaceful way to end a debate when 2 people have different opinions. For example, you love spicy food. I can't handle it at all. Let's agree to disagree. This phrase is useful when you don't want to argue, but still want to keep the conversation respectful. Try it with someone you disagree with. You think summer is better? I prefer winter. Let's agree to disagree. It's a mature and fluent way to handle conversations. Let's now wrap this part up with another practice paragraph using today's expressions. Picture this. You're chatting with a colleague. They say, I think working from home is always better. You reply, let's agree to disagree. I actually like the office vibe more. Then you say, anyway, I've got a lot on my plate today. Let's catch up soon. This short exchange sounds smooth, respectful, and fluent. Try creating a similar dialogue in your notebook and say it out loud a few times. Let's now look at another fantastic expression used in both casual and professional conversations. Let me sleep on it. This means you need some time to think about something before making a decision. It's polite and shows that you take decisions seriously. Imagine someone offers you a new job opportunity and you're not sure if you want to accept it right away. You can say, "Thanks for the offer. Let me sleep on it and I'll get back to you tomorrow." Let's try another one. Your friend asks if you want to go on a weekend trip. You can say, "Sounds fun, but let me sleep on it before I confirm." It's a phrase that shows thoughtfulness and gives you space to reflect before replying. Another expression that adds a native touch to your English is, "I'm not sure off the top of my head." This means you don't know the answer right now, but you might know it if you had a moment to think. It's more natural than just saying, "I don't know." For example, if someone asks, "Do you remember John's phone number?" You can say, "I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I can check my contacts." Or if someone asks, "What's the capital of Switzerland?" and you forget, you say, "I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I think it's Bern." Using phrases like this makes your English sound more relaxed and fluent. Now, here's a very commonly used conversational phrase. "I'm keeping my fingers crossed." It means you're hoping for a good result. You'll often hear it when someone is waiting for news or a result. For example, "I applied for a scholarship and I'm keeping my fingers crossed." Or, "She has a big exam tomorrow, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed for her." This phrase adds warmth and emotion to your speech. Try using it now. Think about something you're waiting for and say, "I'm keeping my fingers crossed that everything goes well." Repeat it a few times and you'll start to use it naturally. Here's another phrase that you'll find useful when someone is interrupting or rushing you. "Hold your horses." This expression means "wait a moment" or "slow down." It's a bit playful and friendly, so it works well with friends or family. For example, if your little brother keeps asking you to play while you're still cooking, you might say, "Hold your horses. I'll be done in 5 minutes." Or when someone's being impatient, "Hold your horses. We haven't even left the house yet." Practice with a pretend conversation. "Are we leaving now?" "Are we? Are we?" "Hold your horses. I need to grab my phone first." It adds humor and lightness to everyday speech. Let's take a moment to practice a dialogue using these new phrases. Imagine you're talking to your coworker. They ask, "Have you decided about the new project?" You say, "Not yet. Let me sleep on it and I'll let you know tomorrow." Then they ask, "Do you know if the budget is approved?" You respond, "I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I'll check with finance." Before leaving, you both say, "I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the project approval." And as your boss rushes you for a report, you say quietly to your friend, "Hold your horses. I'm working on it." This scene sounds fluent and real. Use similar ones to practice regularly. Let's add another expression that's useful when you're giving your opinion gently. "If you ask me." This phrase makes your opinion sound polite and less forceful. For example, "If you ask me, that movie was a bit too long." Or, "If you ask me, we should start the meeting earlier." It's softer than saying, "I think," or "we must." Try using it in a daily context. You're talking about food delivery and you say, "If you ask me, the new place has better service." Use this phrase when giving suggestions or feedback to keep your tone respectful. Another good phrase for sharing your thoughts is, "To be honest." This makes your speech sound sincere. It's helpful when you want to say something important or different from what others might expect. For example, to be honest, I didn't enjoy the concert as much as I thought I would. Or, to be honest, I'd rather stay home than go out tonight. Just make sure to use it kindly so it doesn't sound too harsh. Here's one to try. To be honest, I think we should reschedule the trip because of the weather. This phrase brings clarity and openness into your conversations. Now, let's put both these expressions into a mini story. You're chatting with a friend about a recent movie. You say, "If you ask me, the acting was great, but the plot was weak." Your friend nods and you add, "To be honest, I nearly fell asleep halfway through." This example shows how these phrases make your opinion sound natural and friendly. Use these structures when reviewing things or giving feedback in daily life. Let's now learn a phrase that helps end a conversation politely. I won't keep you. You can use it when you're saying goodbye or ending a call. For example, I know you're busy, so I won't keep you. Talk to you later. It's a smooth way to respect someone's time. Another example. You probably have things to do, so I won't keep you. Take care. Try saying this after a long chat. Great catching up with you. I won't keep you. Enjoy the rest of your day. This keeps the tone professional yet kind. And here's a very casual phrase people use when they want to be honest but still friendly. Just saying. This comes at the end of a statement and softens criticism or humor. For example, that shirt looks a bit old. Just saying. Or, maybe you should double-check your presentation. Just saying. It can be funny or a little cheeky, so use it with people you know well. Let's try one. You say you always forget your umbrella on rainy days. Just saying. It adds a playful touch to comments. Let's now practice with a situation. Imagine your friend is telling you a long story and you realize it's time for them to go. You say, "This has been great, but I won't keep you." Then you add, "You really should try that new burger place. It's amazing." Just saying. It's casual and friendly. Write your own short conversation using these two phrases and read it out loud to make it feel real. Another useful expression that shows care or understanding is, take your time. This is a polite way to let someone know they don't need to rush. You can use it when someone is looking for something or feeling pressured. For example, take your time. There's no rush. Or, take your time with the decision. It's important. Imagine someone is nervous during a presentation and you say, take your time. You're doing fine. This phrase adds calm and shows support. Finally, in this section, let's go over. It's not the end of the world. This is a great phrase to comfort someone after a small mistake or disappointment. It means that the problem is not as bad as it seems. For example, you missed the bus. Don't worry, it's not the end of the world. Or, you forgot your password again. It's not the end of the world. Just reset it. It helps keep things in perspective and adds kindness to your tone. Practice it now. I spilled coffee on my shirt, but hey, it's not the end of the world. Repeat it until it feels easy to say. Let's bring these together in another conversation practice. Your friend says, I forgot to book the tickets. And you reply, take your time. We can check other options. It's not the end of the world. Then, as they start to apologize a lot, you add with a smile, relax, just saying. These phrases show calm control and fluency. Try to write your own version and speak it aloud. The more you practice in context, the faster you'll gain natural fluency. let's explore a very commonly used phrase that helps you agree with someone while also adding your own thoughts. You can say that again. This phrase is used when you strongly agree with someone. For example, if someone says, "This weather is just perfect," you can reply, "You can say that again." It means you feel exactly the same way. Another example, "She's such a talented singer." You respond with, "You can say that again." It adds emphasis to your agreement and keeps the conversation lively. Try to think of a few sentences you strongly agree with and respond by saying, "You can say that again." Now let's learn a useful phrase for giving updates or talking about progress. So far, so good. You use this when things are going well up to the present moment. For example, if someone asks, "How's the new job?" and things are fine, you say, "So far, so good." Or, "How's your project going?" You reply, "So far, so good. I finished most of the work." It's a short, simple way to show that everything is going well. Practice using it in different contexts. "How's your weekend?" "So far, so good." "How's your recovery from the flu?" "So far, so good." This phrase is practical and positive. Now, let's learn a smart way to say that something is very easy. It's a piece of cake. This idiom is often used to describe tasks that are simple or effortless. For example, "Was the test hard?" You say, "No, it was a piece of cake." Or, "How was your driving test?" "It was a piece of cake." Use it when you want to show confidence or encourage someone. "Don't worry about the interview. It'll be a piece of cake." Try it yourself now. Think of something you're good at and say, "For me, it's a piece of cake." Let's practice a short dialogue with all these phrases. Imagine a conversation between two friends. One says, "This weather is so nice today." The other replies, "You can say that again." Then the first one asks, "How's your new gym routine going?" "So far, so good." It's actually a piece of cake compared to what I expected. These kinds of conversations will help you use phrases in real life. Make up your own example and try speaking it out loud to build your fluency. Here's another useful expression for polite disagreement or pointing out a mistake without sounding rude. "I see your point, but..." This phrase helps you disagree in a respectful way. For example, "I see your point, but I think we should wait before making a decision." Or, "I see your point, but there is another side to consider." It allows you to show understanding while expressing your own opinion. Practice it now. Think of a topic and create two opposing views. Respond with, "I see your point, but..." and finish your sentence. Next, we'll look at a fun and expressive way to say something surprising or unexpected happened. Out of the blue. This means something happened suddenly or without warning. For example, "He called me out of the blue after 3 years." She showed up out of the blue and surprised everyone. It adds excitement and color to your storytelling. Try to remember a moment that happened unexpectedly in your life. Now, describe it using, "I got a job offer out of the blue." This helps make your stories more engaging. Let's put these two phrases together in a conversation. Imagine two coworkers talking. One says, "The client changed their mind out of the blue." The other replies, "I see your point, but maybe it's for the better." This kind of interaction sounds fluent and polished. Use this structure to build confidence in your conversations. Practice short back and forths using these phrases with a friend or by recording yourself. Let's go over another important expression. "It's not my cup of tea." This phrase means something is not to your taste or not something you enjoy. For example, I know horror movies are popular, but they're not my cup of tea. Or, dancing in clubs is not my cup of tea. I prefer quiet cafes. It's a polite way to say you don't like something without sounding too negative. Try using it now. Think about an activity or food you don't like. Say, "It's not my cup of tea." It sounds much more natural than saying, "I don't like it." Another great expression for showing something is very important to you is, "It means the world to me." You use this when something or someone is extremely valuable to you. For example, "Your support means the world to me." "Spending time with my family means the world to me." It adds emotion and depth to your words. Think of something that matters deeply to you. Now express it using this phrase. "Helping others learn English means the world to me." Say it a few times to feel its emotional impact. Let's now put both of these phrases in one scenario. Imagine you're speaking with a friend who suggests going to a loud concert. You say, "Honestly, loud concerts are not my cup of tea." Then your friend says, "Okay, no problem. Let's do something else." You smile and reply, "Thanks for understanding. It means the world to me." This type of gentle conversation builds trust and fluency. Practice similar exchanges to get better at soft disagreement and emotional expression. Let's add another practical phrase. "It's a long story." This is useful when you don't want to explain something in detail or when something complicated happened. For example, "Why did you quit your job?" "It's a long story." "Why aren't you speaking to Alex anymore?" "It's a long story." It saves you from having to go into details. Use this phrase when the situation is complicated or private. It helps manage the flow of conversation. Let's also explore a positive phrase, "Better late than never." This is a way to say it's good to do something, even if it's delayed. For example, "He finally apologized. Better late than never." "I started exercising at 40. Better late than never." It's encouraging and supportive, especially for people starting new habits or making improvements. Think of a moment when you did something late, but still felt good about it. Now say, "Better late than never." Here's a situation to practice both phrases. You see someone arriving late to a party and they say, "Sorry, I'm late." You smile and say, "It's okay, better late than never." Then they ask why you came alone and you say, "It's a long story." This makes the conversation friendly and smooth, without awkwardness. Keep practicing these kinds of real-life situations to develop natural fluency. Let's continue with another useful expression. "I couldn't agree more." This is a stronger way of saying, "I agree with you." You use it when you absolutely agree with what someone just said. For example, "Learning English has really changed my life." "I couldn't agree more." "Being kind to others always pays off." "I couldn't agree more." Practice now. Think of a statement you strongly agree with and say, "I couldn't agree more." Another phrase that's often used in daily conversation is, "by all means." It means, "certainly," or "go ahead." You can use it when giving permission or encouraging someone. For example, "Can I borrow your pen?" "By all means." "Do you mind if I ask you a question?" "By all means." It sounds polite, professional, and confident. Imagine someone asks, "Can I join you for lunch?" You reply, "By all means." Now, let's explore a phrase that helps you change topics or return to a previous one. Anyway, as I was saying, this is perfect when someone interrupts you, or if the conversation goes off track and you want to return to your point. For example, anyway, as I was saying, we should plan our project before the meeting. Anyway, as I was saying, it's important to practice English every day. Try using this phrase in a story where you get interrupted and come back to your topic. Let's combine these 3 phrases in a short practice conversation. Imagine 2 colleagues talking. One says, "Speaking politely in English really makes a difference." The other replies, "I couldn't agree more." Then the first one asks, "Can I use your notebook for a second?" The reply is, "By all means." After a brief distraction, the speaker says, "Anyway, as I was saying, learning phrases like these helps a lot." I'm all ears. This means you're listening carefully and giving someone your full attention. If your friend says, "I need to tell you something important," you can respond, "I'm all ears." Now let's look at a gentle way to share your opinion. If you ask me, this is a soft, polite way of expressing a personal view. For example, if you ask me, daily practice is the best way to improve your English. If you ask me, she handled the situation very well. Practice now. Think about something you believe strongly and say, "If you ask me," and complete your thought. Another smart expression is, "The ball is in your court." It means it's someone else's turn to act or decide. For example, "I've given you all the details. Now the ball is in your court." "I apologized. Now the ball is in her court." Use it to express responsibility clearly. Let's try a practice scene. A friend says, "I've been thinking about joining the English speaking club." You respond, "If you ask me, you should go for it. It'll help a lot." Then you add, "But now the ball is in your court." Later, your friend wants to share something and you say, "I'm all ears." This kind of dialogue flows smoothly and sounds natural in real conversation. Next, let's learn the phrase, "Let's call it a day." You use this when you want to stop working or studying because enough has been done. For example, "I'm tired. Let's call it a day." "We've made good progress. Let's call it a day." Try using it at the end of any task. Think of something you finished today and say, "Let's call it a day." Here's a phrase to show curiosity. What's the catch? You use it when something sounds too good to be true and you want to know the hidden problem. For example, "They're offering free laptops." What's the catch? "You're telling me this course is completely free? What's the catch?" Use it when you want to politely question something. One more expression for today. "I'm not sure I follow." This means you don't completely understand what someone said. For example, "I'm not sure I follow. Could you explain that again?" "I'm not sure I follow. What do you mean by that?" It shows you're paying attention and want to understand clearly. Let's end with a final practice scene. Imagine you're talking to someone offering a free trial course. You say, "That sounds amazing. What's the catch?" Then they explain some complicated rules. You reply, "I'm not sure I follow. Can you repeat that?" At the end, you say, "Okay, I've heard enough for today. Let's call it a day." Practicing real dialogue like this is how fluency becomes second nature. These were just some of the many advanced phrases that you can use every day to speak more fluently, sound more natural, and build confidence in English conversations. Learning these expressions is not just about memorizing words. It's about practicing them in context. That's why we used real-life examples, mini conversations, and practice exercises. The more you listen, speak, and think in English, the more automatic these phrases will become. Make sure to practice aloud, write your own examples, and use these phrases whenever you get the chance. So keep practicing and keep using these phrases in your daily life. Remember, fluency doesn't come overnight, but with daily effort and smart learning like this, you'll reach your goals faster. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss a new lesson. We upload English learning videos every day to help you speak better, sound more natural, and feel more confident. Stay tuned for more lessons and don't forget to practice what you've learned today. Until next time, happy learning and keep speaking English with confidence.